Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Temple Formula Racing Podcast with your hosts, Ashley, Chris, and Lil. Thanks for joining us.
Today's episode will be covering a team update.
And then we will go on to our first interview with our ergonomics lead, Mike. And then we will go to a question and answer segment for hashtag TFR pod. And finally, at the end of this podcast, we will be interviewing our FSAE lead alumni, Chau.
But first, we're going to get into the team update with Lil in our Lil Report.
Okay, guys. So this week we're working on shop training. So in order to work in the shop, we need to be trained, and we're doing like an online thing where you answer, I think it's like 70 questions. I passed mine. Ashley, did you pass?
Yes, I passed.
Okay, Ashley helped me pass mine, and Chris needs. So if you're watching this and you're on the team, make sure to take that.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Also manufacturing and still manufacturing parts for ergonomics, I'm pretty sure. And then also we had a general body meeting this week where we talked about a SolidWorks night coming up, which will be hosted by Josh and Sam. So that's fun and exciting because SolidWorks is very essential, and it's fun to learn. And systems are still chugging away on their like respective
projects.
Tasks.
Yeah,
exactly. Last but not least, this episode will probably be coming on Monday. So we want to make sure you guys are voting on Tuesday. Chris and Ashley, have you voted?
Yes, I voted over a month ago.
Yes,
okay.
Me too. I was like a couple weeks ago, but I delivered my mail-in ballot to my county election office.
Yeah, so make sure to vote because it's kind of fun.
Ooh.
Sometimes you get a sticker, but you don't get one when you vote in mail, which is very disappointing.
Some of them do give you stickers. Virginia didn't.
Okay.
I was very mad.
Well, I didn't get a sticker, and
Yeah,
I'm
PA
kind of
didn't.
sad about it.
Yeah.
That's all right. We can print one from the internet.
Yeah, we can put it on some Scotch tape, and
Anyway,
Perfect.
what have you two been working on this week as a part of TFR?
A little bit of muffler design is still going on. We're doing pros and cons about last year's design. We're just trying to get, as powertrain, we're trying to get last year's car perfectly running so that we can do a lot of testing, so then we can start like figuring out what we do need to change. I know it's very late in the game for this, but it's because we're very behind since coronavirus stalled everything last year.
Yeah, and then I've just been working with wheel assembly. Hopefully we'll have a front or rear wheel assembly done this weekend, which is very exciting because then we can start manufacturing and moving forward with our design.
Awesome.
Chris, what have you been up to?
Well, thanks for asking.
Okay, you're welcome.
TFR, no, it's been a busy week. Sorry, I'm going to bring up Temple Update. But if anybody doesn't know, I'm a part of Temple Update, and that's been taking a lot of my time up. This coming week is going to be busy too because we're doing live election night coverage. So if you feel free, or if you feel like watching TUTV at 8 p.m., we're going to start live cut-ins for the election night. But on TFR, I've been kind of coming up with social posts. My mind hasn't been 100% on TFR most recently, but my goal is to have at least one post in a week on all social media platforms, and of course the podcast too. So that's what I've been up to.
Chris is very busy.
Very, very busy.
Very
That's
stressed.
right. No stress here. All right, so now we have an interview with Mike from Ergonomics. Joining us now is Mike, an ergonomics system lead on TFR. So Mike, can you tell us what you do on the team, who you are, your year, and why TFR?
So yeah, I'm Mike McFarland. I'm the ergonomics lead for TFR. I also am involved with designing the wheel assembly with Lil here. So yeah, ergonomics pretty much involves anything that the driver interacts with. So, and the comfort of the driver. So the seat, the steering wheel, the pedals, the pedal pack, the braking system, the shifting. So I'm kind of involved in just making sure those designs are completed and well thought out, and making sure everything comes together. And with the wheel assembly, we're redesigning the suspension system this year, meaning that the pickup points and all the geometry within the tire are going to change. So we're just redesigning that to make sure it's compatible with the new 10-inch rims.
So why did you join TFR?
So I had interest in joining as a freshman. But I kind of wanted, everybody says engineering school is so hard, and they kind of scare you when you're coming into it. So I kind of decided to not join clubs right away. Until I got a feel for school. So I just put that on the back burner, and then sophomore year came and I studied abroad. So I was like, I don't want to get halfway involved with the project and then have to leave halfway through it. But while I was studying abroad, I met our president, Sybil Seneca. She was like, yeah, I'm part of TFR. Like, I do some welding for her, and just pretty new member to the team. So I was like, that sounds like a pretty cool opportunity. So then junior year, I joined and just kind of played a back role on it and just kind of helped Elliot out with ergonomics. And then I just kind of became more and more invested with it and decided I wanted to take on some design projects this year. So
what have you worked on the car specifically, like besides what you've already explained?
Mostly last year, I mostly was involved with the braking system, just doing all the brake calculations and making sure all the hardware was picked out and drew some brake schematics. I didn't really have like a true design project last year that I was involved with. I just kind of helped out with the team. But yeah, this year, like I said before, we're working on the wheel assembly. So we're in the process of redesigning the uprights, the spindle, choosing new brakes that'll fit the 10-inch rims. And what else? And we're going to work on changing up the seating position. And yeah.
So Mike, what are your plans for this year's, like, on the car? What's changing from last year? What are you adapting? What are you fixing? Stuff like that from last year to this year.
So I guess ergonomics wise, we're going to keep it pretty similar. Just because with everything changing, we want to prioritize the suspension and the other aspects of the car. And we didn't really see a need to drastically change the cockpit and everything like that. So we're going to kind of work on having better reasoning for everything and being able to validate the designs that we already have on the car. So like, as an example, last year competition, the seat that we have on the car right now has just kind of had the same position for the past few years. And at competition, the judges were like, well, why is your seat at this angle? We were like, I don't know. It's just the way it is. And, of course, that's not a good enough answer.
That's what engineers hate.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because it is.
But we didn't have anything better to tell them. So, just things like that we want to work on having an answer for. So when it comes to competition, we can give them concrete, legitimate reasons based off of research. So.
Yeah, that's really important. And plus, we also didn't get a lot of testing time last year with the ergo changes that we did do. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we'll see how it works out this year with limited shop access and stuff like that. But we're going to try our best to do what we can in terms of testing.
Yep. And so what else do you enjoy doing besides ergonomics and wheel assembly and TFR all day, every day?
Like, you mean like hobbies and stuff?
Yes, like hobbies.
Like
fun
things.
things.
Okay. I'm pretty into instruments and stuff like that. I have a pretty nice collection of musical instruments that'll just rotate around and play. I'd say I'm a pretty good guitar player, but also learning the mandolin, banjo, piano. I just kind of, in my basement, I have a nice collection that I just will rotate whatever I feel like playing. And that's kind of how I de-stress at night. And besides that, I also love playing basketball. Didn't really play much in high school, but I got really into it in college. and played intramural and stuff. But COVID happened, so don't get to do that this year. But yeah,
In basketball.
basketball. Yeah.
Now, what position did you play?
Oh, what position? I guess you could call me either a shooting guard or a power forward. I like to play down low, but I also like to shoot. So.
Do you have a? Sorry, Ashley, go ahead. I was going to ask, do you have a favorite instrument? You seem like you play a lot. Like, do you have a preference?
Yeah, definitely the guitar. Most people started on that, and that's what I started on. And I just kind of got pretty good at that before I started exploring the other instruments. But I also love playing the banjo. It's a funky sound, but it's fun. So.
Have you ever been in like a band?
Not really. I have a bunch of guys that I kind of rotate with, who I jam with. But
Oh yeah.
Elliot, I'll jam with him every couple weekends or so. My roommates all play. My one roommate's a drummer. My other roommate plays guitar too, and he's been learning how to play my banjo. So we'll jam every so often. So.
So, like, what genre?
Band that's gone out and gigged or anything. I guess for the most part, I kind of stick to either like fingerstyle folk or the blues or a lot of jam band stuff like the Dead or the Allman Brothers. But I kind of like to stretch the different genres. So I'll play a lot of country licks and bluegrass and stuff, but I won't play like pure bluegrass music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
You learn the spoons too?
The spoons?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I played the spoons in middle school. I remember that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like a part of the curriculum in like music class. But that's kind of interesting. Like, there's a little TFR band like with Greg and now Mike and Elliot too. Anyway.
And Tyler, I think, used to be in a band, our old like manufacturing lead.
Yeah, I think he was
really?
a drummer in a jam band last year.
Oh my god.
Just so many musicians. How has COVID impacted your plans, like TFR plans, and then also like personal plans for this year?
I guess I wouldn't say COVID really impacted my plans with TFR. Everything that I kind of plan on doing, we're still rolling forward with. But that being said, it is more difficult to do these designs and get through with these plans because it's just not being able to see last year's car and, me being still a relatively new member to the team, a lot of the tiny, smaller details on the car, I don't think about. So it's kind of harder to, I don't know, just conceptualize things when you're online and always on Zoom. I guess personally, COVID impacted me. I lost my internship over the summer, which was really frustrating because it was a pretty good gig and it was close to home. But I ended up being fortunate enough to be able to return to my old internship, which was nice, and I learned a lot. But now it kind of holds some uncertainty in the future as I'm about to graduate in a couple months, and the job market's not where I would like it to be, But we'll see. Just keep applying, and hopefully I'll land something. I am fortunate. My internship from last year did offer me something, so I always have that to fall back on. But we'll see. Yeah.
Nice.
Are you excited to like apply to like certain companies right now, or?
I don't know. I haven't really found a job that I'm like, wow, this is the dream, But I'm just gonna approach it with an open mind. With code and everything, and I know I'm not going to find my dream job right away, but just, approach everything with positivity, and hopefully I can make the best out of what I do find. So,
Our last question for you is, what are you looking forward to?
what am I looking forward to? That is hard.
We deliver.
I don't know. I guess I'm just really looking forward to graduating. Engineering school is not an easy thing, and I'm excited to start, I guess the real world and see where that takes me. So, I guess kind of how I answered the last question. It's everything's uncertain right now. There's no set in stone plan for me or whatever. So, just looking forward to that uncertainty and seeing where I do end up.
Yeah, looking forward to no homework.
Yep, exactly.
Well, thank you, Mike, for joining us on the TFR podcast. We obviously look forward to what Ergonomics is going to do this semester, this year, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike, for coming to our podcast and answering all of our tough questions.
It was so fun having you.
Yes, thanks, Mike. And we'll have to get the TFR band together sometime, now that everybody plays an instrument.
Right,
Okay.
no. Do you play an instrument?
No.
We're all behind.
All right, now moving on to our hashtag TFR pod segment. This is where you guys will use the hashtag TFR pod, and we'll answer any questions you guys have or tell us your fun, interesting stories about an FSAE team that's just like us. Okay, but first we're going to give a quick shout out to my new favorite FSAE Instagram account at 49ers Racing, because they commented looks like a fun podcast, which it is a fun podcast, and they thought the answer to the last question on the promo was what my favorite Instagram account was, and it's definitely them now. So congratulations to 49ers Racing. Good job, guys.
So, guys.
All right, so questions we've written down for ourselves this time because we just wanted to. First off, we have, is TFR working over the winter break?
Do you want to take it, Will? Yeah?
With the pandemic, we're going to be following all guidelines, the 4 pillars of health, which is very important, shop training, all of that, minimum capacity in the shop. But I think, yes, we'll probably be working over winter break. That is normally when we get a lot of manufacturing done, especially in previous years. Just spring break, winter break, fall break. Those are pretty much, main, times that we do manufacturing stuff, so... I guess the answer is yes.
Yes, we will be working over all of the breaks.
Yes, but safely.
Safely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then next, you were talking about shop training and approval for people to work in the shop. So how many people did get approved to work in the shop? Do you know?
We don't know because it's changing because everyone keeps doing the safety training, but we do have the number of people that are allowed in the shop. As of right now, at maximum is 7, which is more than I thought they were going to give us. I thought they were going to give us 5, and I was like, that's going to be so awful to only have 5 people working at the same time. But we have 7 people, but you have to be in there with a lead, and they're not giving out any of the shop code information to anyone that's not a lead, so a lead has to be in there most of the time.
And then, Ashley, how many people can work in the machine shop?
The people in the machine shop the people in the machine shop that can work in the machine shop are the people who are paid to work in the machine shop, and we are the only ones allowed in the machine shop after hours or after the machine shop is closed, and there must be 3 of us minimum in there to machine anything. So most of the time it's Zach, me, Jake, and Josh, and we're all in there just machining from 5 p.m. till midnight or however late we need to stay. So
yeah, so around 4 people in the shop, in the machine shop.
There's normally always 4 of us.
And all of this was approved. The way we got to the number of people we were allowed in the machine shop or the TFR shop was through University Risk Management and obviously health and safety as well. So that's where all the numbers come from.
Yes.
Just to make sure everybody's safe and healthy and we all get through this okay. And then our last question, since we're recording this on October 31st, what is everybody being for Halloween? Spooky day.
Spooky. So I recently learned about the show I don't know if is it a show actually? Llamas with Hats.
It's like a
So
YouTube
funny.
show. Yes.
I feel like I'm very behind.
Mhm.
So in my head, I'm Carl from Llamas with Hats, but I'm
Mhm.
not actually Carl. But in my head, I am.
Yes.
So
Carl.
that's who I'm being for
Mhm.
Halloween.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense because didn't get a costume. But I do
Yeah.
have a winter hat, and maybe I'll have a persona of a llama today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Paul from Llamas with Hats, because I showed Lil that series on YouTube. It's so funny. I love dark humor so much. So yeah, Chris, what are you gonna wear?
Well, over the summer, I had like a friend of mine had a Tyvek suit, so I'm gonna wear that and I'm gonna be like all zipped up, right? So I'll be COVID safe, and then I have a mask, and then for Temple Update, this was also through health and safety at the university. We have like a little
Visor?
face
A
shield,
face shield?
a face
Yeah.
shield. So I'll have that, and I'll be extra COVID protected. So I'm gonna be like, I don't know what to call it, COVID
What?
ghost. I guess it's kind of like a COVID ghost. Hold on, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Puts it on. I'm so excited.
All right, hold on.
Do, 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 do.
All right.
Technical difficulties.
So
Oh.
Oh, okay. I was
That
imagining
is so
like one of those like bodycon suits that are like lime green. And I was like very confused. I was
It's got a
trying to
little
follow.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then I'm gonna put
Yeah.
like a thick mask on and a face shield, and I'll be like a COVID ghost because it's all white and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes
Spooky.
sense.
Okay.
Spooky.
All right, and then just to be clear, like we're still gonna follow all our safety guidelines too. We're not gonna go out trick or treating. We're just gonna spend Halloween with our roommates and have fun.
We're not going trick or treating.
No,
No, Lil.
sorry, Lo.
We didn't tell her yet.
No. No, but we're gonna follow safeties first, especially in a global pandemic. But we love to celebrate spooky season. Okay, well, this was a fun discussion about Halloween. We're gonna go now talk to Chau and see what she's up to and her thoughts on, her experience with TFR.
Joining us now all the way from California is a former TFR member, Chau. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do now, when did you graduate?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Chau. I am in California working for Tesla right now. I graduated May 2020 and I've been on the team for 3 years. So like 3/4 of my undergrad, basically.
Nice. So then,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, Ashley.
I know, we're all just like, so excited to talk to Chau today.
So Chau, why did you go into engineering? What made you want to go into this field?
Fun fact, I got admitted to Temple under as a business student. And then I was there for a semester and I don't know. I miss problem solving in general. Whereas business you're more dealing with problem too, but you're more dealing with people. Whereas I want like a solid, concrete problem that like you go through all the steps and so on and so forth. So I decided to switch my major halfway through and do engineering. I don't think there's like a solid reason why I do engineering. It's more, I don't want to do business. Let's choose something else.
Something
Engineering,
else as well,
engineering sounds fun. You get to do cool things, and usually when you watch news and stuff like, people building rockets, people building cars, all these things that you can look at. Whereas like, what do you do? I'm a business. I sell like classes. It doesn't sound. I guess so.
Yeah.
I go for the fame.
Yes, and it's a lot cooler, I have to say.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Chris.
I don't care. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Not that it's like it's also different how you see things, how people perceive cool things, I guess. And I just find making tangible things that you can see and working on it and improving it is very appealing to me.
Yeah. And so after graduating, you got a job at Tesla. So what have you been up to at Tesla? How has that been?
So
She's trying to see what she can say.
Yeah, don't
With
reveal
her
any state secrets.
non-disclosure agreement.
no, like I think the entire just the sheer like I've always wanted to move to California. It's beautiful out here. The weather is always nice. You're very close to nature. You can go to beach. You can like go camping. Just it's everything is so close by. Nature wise, not like the distance wise far, but you can
Very far.
Yeah.
just and it's also it's kind of random. Like I plan to come back to Vietnam permanently after my graduation, and then the entire thing hit, and then travel ban was imposed, and I couldn't go back. So I was like, well, I might as well find a job here. And another member was working for Tesla at the time as an intern, and he just liked my resume, and it goes to different teams, and then it reached to this like senior engineer, but not on our team or not anything. And he recommended me for the quality team that I'm working on right now. Yeah, and like it's kind of funny because Faisal, who recommended me, like doesn't even know the other guy who sent my resume to HR. Like no one knows why he did it. I don't even know why he did that. And when I met him for the first time at Tesla, I was like, do you know me? Because you are the reason why I get to interview for this job. And it's like, oh, cool.
Oh, that's so random.
Yeah, that is very random. And the entire interview process is like 1 week because right after I got through my first interview, I have like a plane ticket to go back. So I told Tesla, hey, so you need to decide right now if you want to have me. So they was very supporting and cooperative and understanding of my entire situation. And they really try their best to get me through all the interview process and get me out here as fast as possible. And
That's so cool.
yeah, and I was the fastest car record at Tesla up until this point.
Wow, that's so cool.
Wow. It's like
Yeah.
everything fell into place. It's like everything just fell into place.
I know, yeah. The entire interview process is 1 week, and then the moment I get was like 1 week after. So since the first interview until I there was like 2 weeks.
That's
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on past the present, let's go backwards. Okay, so how did you get involved with TFR when you first heard about it?
So I like since I'm at Temple, like I look at all the clubs around. I think there's 400 clubs at Temple. If you guys don't know, I went through all of that.
Wow.
TFR.
Such a Chau thing to do.
That's dedication.
I've always wanted to do something more rather than just coursework. And then TFR really stand out. But at that time, it's like, oh, I'm a business student. I'm not sure if I can be as helpful. So I was intimidated. I decided not to join. But as soon as I switched my major, I joined. And at that point, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do anything because I just switched my major. I have zero knowledge in engineering whatsoever. But everyone was very nice and helpful. And then I just started out doing just manual work, labor work, sanding, and then start getting hands-on machining. And if you stick around long enough, people start knowing your name, and then they start getting you started all these projects that they're working on. Yeah, and I feel like I had a lot of fun just being around all these passionate people. building race cars is cool in my mind too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Pretty sick.
What is one thing that like sticks out about your time at TFR? Like, is there one project that you worked on that you were like happy about the completion of, that everything came together in the end? Like, is there one thing that sticks out?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I've done, well, it's 3 years, a long time, but I think the thing that stick to me out the most was the people there. Through 3 years, I can see completely 3 generation, and the dynamics on the team is very different too. Not necessarily good or bad. It like challenged me to kind of change myself to fit into that dynamics itself. I've seen people change a lot just being on the team. That is kind of cool, and I can see myself change too. And sometimes Jim and John, like the advisor of the team, it's like, wow, like we can barely hear you when you spoke the first time you joined. just little things like that, like this is cool.
Yeah, it like brings people out of their shell a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. Not just bring people out of their shell. Also, Elliot is I think he started out with just by getting your hands on, you can see people learn and be better at their skills.
Yeah. And then outside of work, because work probably takes up like most of your time, I would imagine. What else do you like enjoy doing? Do you have any like hobbies? What have you been up to?
Oh yeah, so again, California is great. So every other weekend up until this point, I've been going camping at different spots.
That's so cool.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There was this one camping spot we really like that has a lake. Like you are on the top and you can build a lake down there, and we bring inflatable boats there and just floats on the lake for the entire day reading books. It's amazing.
That sounds like a movie.
That's like a
Yeah, that
nice
sounds
life.
great.
Then there's deers around who, like, for some reason doesn't scare us at all. They get real close. We have to shoo them away.
They want to go swimming, Chau. They want to hang out with you. They want to go swimming.
I don't know.
And there's one time that I went off-roading where they just drive their cars to crazy terrain, and at one point our car was on 2 wheels and we're about to flip and was like, oh! Kinda, yeah. So all the things that I've never done before. Very exciting. So there's a lot of that. People at work. Tesla have just all these cool people. There's this one guy has 5 cars, and he just constantly buying old cars and working on it. So I come over to his place and help him, just like TFR.
That's so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun. He has a Ferrari. He has a Porsche. Oh my gosh, he has a red Ferrari. I loved it so much. Leather interior too. Oh.
Does he let you drive them?
Fun fact: I don't have a driver's
Oh
license.
yeah,
Wow. I keep forgetting that. Oh my god.
I do. Because it's so funny. You work on cars, but you don't have a driver's license.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And sometimes it's annoying because you work at like a car company and you want to test out cars, but you can't drive. So you always have to have someone help you. So I'm working on it. I want to be able to drive cars now.
Did you plan to get it eventually?
I already got my permit. I need to schedule the behind the wheel exam and get more practice in.
Nice.
So hopefully,
Parallel park.
The Tesla can do it for you. It's fine.
Yeah, get a car that can do it for you.
yeah, you don't need that. California have so much space. From what I've heard, they would just ask you to go on a highway, and that's it. That's a test. If you can go on highway.
Yeah, I didn't have to parallel park for my test.
I
So
didn't
was like-
either.
That's ridiculous. Anyway, talking about tests. So competition, it's gonna look very different this year, and you've been to competition before. So
Yeah.
do you have any advice for anybody going to competition and what to expect or what to not do or just tips in general?
Pack warm clothes. No, seriously. Michigan,
It's freezing.
yeah, the temperature is not that low, but because of the humidity, it's freezing out there. So just pack warm clothes, even if you feel that it's not necessary. Just pack it, and then for people that doesn't have clothes too. My first competition that I went to, I was like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like 60s. It's not that bad. I need like one jacket. Wrong. And yeah, luckily someone who overpacked, so that's why I have clothes to wear. Keeps me warm, so pack warm clothes. But seriously, just think once you're at competition, you've already tried your best, and those 4 days, no matter what happened, I think you should just enjoy it. Like volunteer to be on the track and just see cars, and that's something that I think you guys should do. Just walking around, checking out other people's car, and if something's sticking out to you, go up there and talk to them. Another reason why I really like competition and FSAE is that all the people are very opening and welcoming, and they love to talk about what they do. So just start the conversation, and they would just talk and talk. It's amazing.
Chau, could you get a little bit into like how TFR prepared you to like where you are today?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two main aspects here, right? Like personality-wise, grow as a person and then grow as an engineer, like for technical stuff. Of course, classes are great, but I don't think any of them stick out too much for me. I think I gain more of my engineering things skill through TFR because again, it's problem solving. If you don't get your hands on a problem, it's hard for you to develop that skill. And fun facts, like for full-time interview at Tesla, you would have to give a 30 minutes presentation about a project that you've worked in the past. So just the fact that I work at TFR, I have like all these options of projects that I've worked on, and I was able to really elaborate on one that I feel most proud of. Everyone loves it. I don't think I did that well during the entire interview process for a technical question, but I think the guy that like working with me right now, he thinks the thing that stand out most to me was the passion and the willing to learn, and everyone loves that presentation. So good point. Like it comes in handy if you have something to talk about. And all the interview that I went to, I print out a portfolio of all the project that I did with pictures and stuff, and you just take it out. And I was like, whoa, 100% you're gonna nail it. And you can have all these options to talk to at the interview. It's like, oh, what do you do for this? Like, here, this is the thing that I did. They love to know what you did. I mean, it could be a school project too, but I think that's more limited to like the number of courses you take during the thing, whereas in TFR, the things that you get out is equivalent to the time that you put in. So you can learn at a very fast rate. And personality-wise as well, I'm not I'm a shy person in nature. And I even said that in my interview, but but like I don't know. I realize that it's human. You just talk to them. It's fine. They don't fight. And
Don't
I
bite.
started having friendship throughout the entire thing, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. So leading off of that, kind of, what would be like one piece of advice you would give I would say this team or future TFR teams, like going forward with design or presentation or just all of it in general?
I think for engineering, I understand that when you're trying to build a new car, you want it to be your own car. You want to be able to contribute something into it, and oftentimes you would want to be able to make a change, right? That's like a natural desire of humans, so that you can just look at the car like, oh, I did that, but but before that, you really need to understand why you need to make this change first, and it's okay to rebuild the old car, to redo the things that they've done it before too. As long as you get something out of it, as long as you get your hands on, understand why they did the thing they do, and from there you be able to like, oh, you can improve on this one and this one, but always have a reason to back up why you decide to do the things you do. And that's like, as a quality engineer, I feel the same way too, because there's a bunch of other factors. It's like cost effective and the pressure of putting out cars, production rate, but as long as I have a solid reason, like this is crucial, we need to do this for quality, then everything would be fine. Just
Yeah.
So your advice is just to like just keep learning, just keep trying.
yeah, I think my main advice is, if you want to make a change or something, have a reason to back it up, or just have a reason to back up any decision that you want to make.
Yeah, have a reason for being an engineer in that moment, you know?
Yeah. Everyone always talks about like times when they go to comp and the judge is like, why did you do that? And they're like, I don't know. And like, you know, everything for the most part in the car, we should have a scientific reason of why it's there. You know, everything should have a purpose, and we should truly understand the car we are building.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be, it could be an engineering reason where, well, this could make the car faster, but it could be other reason as well, as in, we have restriction in like experience. We have like limited experienced people, so we're trying to build up that for the team. We have limited costs, so that's why we decided to go with this. It doesn't have to be engineering, but as long as you need a reason to back it up and everything.
Chau, this is a biggie that stumps everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
Are you ready? You prepared?
Oh.
What are you looking forward to?
There's a lot I'm looking forward to. It's as little as like next weekend, because we're planning to go to Yosemite. We're planning to camp at Yosemite National next week. That's
Oh my god.
Yosemite.
Whoa!
That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Or I'm excited about the heat pump program that Tesla just launched for the new Model 3. Everything runs smoothly. I'm really happy about it. And exciting about just the possibilities from here. It's a great start as a young engineer, in my opinion, to have the opportunity to work at Tesla.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on this podcast, man. Miss you.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Thanks. And the best advice is to bring warm clothes to comp.
Yes.
Thank you, Chau, for joining us. It was really interesting to hear your stories about TFR and what you're up to now. All right, so that is all for this. Sorry if you're going to say something, but that was
No,
all
I
for this
wasn't.
episode.
We're good.
That's all for this
We're good.
episode of the TFR podcast. Be sure to use the hashtag TFRPod next time if you want to get involved. It's hashtag TFRPOD. Let us know your questions with that. Also, let us know your stories. DM us your stories if you have any fun stories about your FSAE team. And use the hashtag TFR62. There's a lot of happening right now. The hashtag TFR62, that's our team hashtag. Feel free to use that. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at TU Formula Racing on Twitter and at Temple Formula Racing on everything else. Also add us on LinkedIn if you want to. And then give us a like, give us a share, subscribe if you're on YouTube, leave a comment, review the podcast if you're on Apple Podcasts, something like that.
Yeah. Do all
Bye,
that stuff
guys.
Chris just said. Bye.
Oh,
That was a mouthful.
Everything Chris said. Good.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Have fun. See ya.